So welcome. It's our intermediate class today, and it's a beautiful day outside, absolutely gorgeous. And today I'm inviting you into the question, what do you really want? This is a big question, and it can be a really tricky question. Um, Many of us are kind of trained to put our wants and needs behind others' wants and needs, maybe lived your life taking care of others and not really thinking too much about what you want. That's one scenario, right? Another scenario is maybe we've been trained in our mind to think that we can't get what we want. You know, maybe we've had that experience before, so we kind of cut ourselves off from even wanting anything because we're afraid that we're not going to get it. Or we want something and then all of these internal resistances come up to say, you can't have that, you don't deserve that, or whatever your story is. So today, I really invite you to, as much as possible, just pose the question, what do I really want? Don't go looking for an answer. Don't try to manipulate the answer to something that is nice and tidy that you could have or any of that. Just what do I really want? Right? Can you tune in to the sense of longing, of desire, of wanting, even if you don't know what it is you want or if it's possible to have that thing? And then when we sort of tune into our sense of desire, our sense of wanting, and then we put some effort into the practice with that intention of really tuning in and being with what we want. And, you know, there's no guarantee just because you want it, you're going to get it. If you've read The Secret, the book that says all you have to do is think about what you want and you'll get it, well, there's a few flaws in that philosophy. There's also some real truth to that, but it's really about what do we unconsciously want as well as what we consciously want, right? So our unconscious tries to kind of get in there and tell us that it's not possible. So I invite you today to really just sink into the feeling of wanting, pose the question, what is it that I really want? And just let whatever bubbles up, bubble up. Don't try to edit, don't try to squash it down if possible, and just see what emerges when you allow yourself to be open to the idea of simply wanting. All right, so we'll start seated today. We're going to work with a little bit of grounding, some breath work, building on some of the tools that we've looked at over the last several weeks. So I'll see you on the mat in a comfortable seated position. It could be on a chair, the floor, whatever you prefer. So finding your comfortable seat, as much as possible, sit bones anchored to your cushions, the ground, blanket, chair, whatever you're sitting on. And ideally a feeling of lifting and lightness through the torso, through the spine. If there's discomfort, if you feel like you're holding rigidity to stay upright, adjust your posture. Maybe go to a chair rather than being on the floor, or if you've got a blanket or a cushion or a bolster that could lift your hips, and if that helps you be more comfortable, do what you need to do. Take your time. And if you're distracted by discomfort in your body, it's hard to focus on what's present in the moment. So once you get comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. As always, leaving your eyes open is another option that's just as grand. And if you choose to leave your eyes open, you might just soften your gaze, maybe open up a little to the periphery. Just being present, eyes open or closed, with whatever arises today. So last week we looked at 3 different ways of working with the breath, and we're going to move into the second way we looked at last week, which was to simply notice and observe the breath as it is. No need to change anything. You can watch the breath in one place, such as at your nostrils, or maybe through your throat, or in your belly. Or you can follow the path of the breath, watching from the moment it comes in to the deepest point in your body and then back out again. So either one spot or following the breath. And we'll take about a minute to center ourselves by tuning into the breath in this way. So simply watching for about a minute. Now notice, where's your attention? If it wandered away, invite it back to the breath for another full breath. Breathing in, breathing out, and then letting go of the focus on your breath for the moment. Let's bring the palms together at the center of the chest. And I invite you to bring this question into your awareness now, into your mind now. What do I really want? Remember, there's no need to dig for an answer. The best answer comes when we least expect it, from our unconscious mind, bubbling up to the surface. So all we really need to do is pose the question over and over and over. What do I really want? And then with that question in your heart and mind, let's create some space around us, some space to fill with the query of that question by lifting the hands, breathing in, and then creating a big circle of space around you as you exhale. And we'll do that a few times. So hands come together. It's like you're taking this question from your heart and giving it space. Right? It can be a challenging question. What do you want? Like, we're trained for the most part to look after others, to not really worry about what we want if it's in conflict with what others want. So we turn away from our desire, we turn away from our longing. Right? And now giving space to allow that longing to expand into that space, and bringing your hands back together at your heart. And we'll do that little gesture of giving and receiving called Avahanam, which is also a nice little wrist movement and stretch. So it goes like this. So the hands turn, palms down, fingers together. The backs of the hands come together, and then you roll the fingers in and keep rolling until you come to this position with the palms open. And we're going to use this as a gesture of letting go of what holds us back, whatever it is, whether we're aware of it or not, letting go of what holds us back from having what we want. And then from that place of emptiness, from that place of surrender and release, we're going to bring the hands back towards us, backs of the hands together, fingertips come in, down, around, and we bring that back to our heart. Right? Bringing back that desire, that longing, it's not without, but once we've let go of what holds us back. So again, palms down, rolling around, and releasing the stories that you don't deserve, that it's too much, or whatever it is. And then coming back to pure desire, pure wanting, right? Without the stories. And let's do that again. Dropping the story, releasing whatever it is that holds you back. And then that gives you space to invite in what you truly want. Right? If we're always going for what we sort of want, we don't have space for what we really want, right? If you really want ice cream for dinner, you're not going to be satisfied with something else, right? Even though we think, I shouldn't have ice cream for dinner. And just a little secret, that's what I had for dinner last right? Because that's what I wanted. So one more time, letting go of the story. Ice cream isn't a good dinner food, and of course it's not. If we did it every day, it would be terrible, but we can have what we want, right? Bringing the hands back to the heart and knowing that you can have what you want, right? Take a deep breath here, really cement that in, that idea that it's possible. We don't always want what's good for us, but we're not worried about that right now. Right? Just tuning into what it is we want, or even just the feeling of wanting. A big breath in, exhale, and release. So you can just let your hands rest in your lap or on your thighs, wherever's comfortable for you. Turning the head to one side, we'll make a little half circle, bringing the chin down across the front of the chest to come up to the other side. And then shifting back. Side to side at your own pace. If you want to make a full circle, do it gently, making sure you're not letting your head fall back behind you, but allowing it to move across the tops of your shoulders. You can also switch directions at any point, rolling the head the other way. Great, and let's come back to the center. And I'm going to invite you to hold this feeling with you, and I'll remind you through the practice, this question of what do I really want? And we're just going to hold it. We're just going to keep coming back to that question, keep dropping it in and seeing, once we plant the seed, what grows from that. Let's come over to all fours now and do a little bit of movement for the spine. So traditional cat-cow or moving from all fours to child's pose, whatever suits you. And inhaling as you arch, exhaling as you round, and moving at your own pace, coordinating the breath only if that feels right for you. Taking your time. And then I'll invite you into a little addition here. So as you arch the back, you can raise one leg and look up slightly to arch, and then rounding. Or child's pose as you bring the leg in, and then other side, reaching out. You can flex the foot and really firm that leg, and then relax as you bring it in, rounding or child's pose. So a few more like that. Extending, strong leg, releasing, relaxing. Great, next time you come upright and you have one leg stretched out behind you, keep that there, flex your foot so your toes point down. There's a little bit of an internal rotation of the thigh. So there's a sense that the toes are pointing straight down, not turning out to the side. And then you can bend the knee so the sole of your foot points at the ceiling, and lift slightly and lower slightly. So lifting and lowering that leg. Make sure you're breathing. Don't worry exactly as to how you're breathing, as long as you're breathing. Right. And then you can bring that knee in. Pause for a moment. Come into child's pose for maybe a couple of breaths. And then when you feel ready, we'll come to the other side. So you'll come back to all fours. You're going to stretch that leg back. Again, think about where your toe is pointing and how is that affected by your whole leg, right? So you want the whole leg to slightly internally rotate till the toes are pointing down. And then you can bend the knee so the sole of your foot points at the ceiling, and then lift and lower a couple of inches. Breathing. And then releasing, and we'll come down and again, take a few breaths in child's pose. If you like, you can have the knees apart or together, whatever is better for you. So just staying in child's pose for a couple of breaths. And then you can engage with any movement that would feel good from here. So maybe you want to just stay in child's pose and perhaps rock your hips a little side to side. Maybe you want a bigger movement. You're going to come up to all fours and do a big circle with your hips. Maybe you want to go back to a cat-cow movement. So take a moment, tune in. What does your body want right now? And can you bring that into your practice? What does your body want right now? Right, even there, sometimes we don't know. For me, usually the answer is a massage. My body wants a massage. Right, so whatever your body wants, allow that to bubble up, even if it's not possible right here in this moment. Right, you can take a break, come sit on your knees if that's comfortable for you, or up high off your heels, circle the wrists a few times, do a little movement here, shake them out. We're going to come into downward dog and look a little bit at downward dog today. So downward dog is a strong posture with weight on our hands and feet. And we want to think about really lengthening the torso in this pose and keeping the legs relaxed. So often people try to straighten the legs in downward dog. I invite you to really keep them bent and think more about the torso being long. Let's practice that a little bit in puppy pose. So in puppy pose, you're going to have your knees underneath your hips. All right, and you're going to keep them in that position. You can come down onto your elbows and slowly walk the arms forward. You can let the elbows come to the sides a little bit out on an angle, if that's more comfortable for your shoulders. And then see if you can start to work on taking the arms straight overhead, elbows off the ground, palms on the ground, and you're pressing the palms into the ground. Now, if that's uncomfortable for your shoulders, bend your arms a little bit and bring the hands a little closer to your head. Right. Now, from here, if you've got the arms stretched out, you can think about just lifting your head slightly off the ground so it's in between your arms. And then as if you're trying to pull the mat together with your hands. So you're drawing the hands towards each other on the mat. And really opening up some space in the upper back. Right, from here, you can bring your elbows back down, walk it back, come to child's pose, and let's bring the arms as long, again, as it's comfortable for you. You can bring your arms back by your feet in child's pose. So if your head doesn't quite reach the ground, you might want to use a block or a cushion to support it so that you can allow the shoulders to come back and relax here. And if that's not comfortable, absolutely keep your arms forward. So wherever you're at, a few breaths here. Great, and then we'll come back to all fours. And now we'll move into downward dog. So you want to take your hands a little bit ahead of your shoulders. The traditional or classical distance for downward dog is quite a bit further apart than most of us are comfortable doing. So if you want to try the classical distance, instead of lifting from all fours, you can lift from plank. So you take your feet back so that your shoulders are over your hands. And then from there, start to lift the hips and bend the knees. And you'll probably find that it feels really wide. Right? So see if you can resist stepping forward here. So bent knees, long arms, head between the arms, and you're kind of pulling the mat as if you're trying to pull the mat between your two hands, bringing your hands towards each other. And that will really engage the arms. Good. And then let's release down. You can come to sit on your heels or sit up and do a few rotations to release any tension that you might have brought into your shoulders here. Right, and give a little shake. And then let's move into a a kneeling sun salutation just to continue to warm up here. It's working because I'm taking my jacket off. So you're going to be a little bit towards the back of your space. So you want to have some room to move forward in this sun salutation. So if you're on a mat, you'll move towards the back of the mat or towards the back of your space. You can either start here in high kneeling or come down to a low kneeling position. And let's take a moment here as we ground ourselves for the beginning of this moving sun salutation variation. And tuning back into the earth beneath you. And tuning into that question, what do you really want? Again, no answer is required. We're posing the question. It's like we're dropping it in and seeing what emerges. So with that question right dropped into your mind and heart, we'll dedicate our sun salutation to this query. So when you're ready, inhale and lift. What do I really want? Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, all fours. What do I really want? Tucking your toes under, exhale, downward dog. Knees soft, pressing into the arms, growing the spine long. Take a couple of breaths here in downward dog. Feel the effort of this pose and dedicate the effort to your desire, whatever that is. What do you really want? And let's move down to all fours again, breathing in. Exhaling, moving into child's pose. Inhale, lifting in high kneeling, coming all the way up. And exhale, bring the arms down, but stay upright. So releasing the arms, bring your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers, let the heart lift. Don't try to squeeze your shoulders back. Just let that position create some openness. And take a few breaths, breathing into the space across the front of your chest. Expanding your heart to receive what it is you really, truly want. And from that open space, releasing the arms, lifting all the way up, breathing in. Exhale back to child's pose. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, downward dog. And maybe walk your feet in place this time, creating some opening in the ankles and the calves. And then as you're ready, coming back to all fours, breathing in. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, high kneeling. Exhale, big circle with the arms coming down to your sides. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Just let the arms open the chest. You don't have to squeeze or pinch your shoulders back. Let the heart lift. Expanding that sense, what do I really want? And then again, we'll inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, come to all fours. And then I'm going to invite you to find plank. So you're probably going to move your hands a little forward. Maybe step your feet back. Come into plank. If that feels like too much, keep your knees down. Think about shoulders back, a little softening in the elbows. The elbows are moving back towards your hips. Almost as if you're going to bend them, but you don't have to bend them. Good. And then from there, press back to downward dog, bending the knees as you go. Try to avoid that step forward that's so tempting. See what it feels like to be a little more extended in your downward dog, and then drawing the elbows towards each other, pressing into the palms, squeezing the hands towards each other on the mat. Right. And then we're going to start to walk the feet forward. So you can walk, you can hop, you can take one big step. Regardless of how you get there, I'm going to bring the feet to the hands into a forward bend. Bend your knees quite a lot. In fact, if you can rest your chest on your thighs, that's a great option here. You can take your arms and Hug them behind your knees if that's available. Let your head release and take a few breaths here. See if you can breathe into the back space of your body and stay with that question. What do I really want? When you're ready, slowly release the arms. Come up with a long spine, lifting slowly, reaching up overhead, and releasing. So coming now to mountain pose, now that you're upright. Feet parallel, hip distance apart. Let your weight sink into your heels until you feel your thighs engage. You can wiggle your toes and maybe spread them out if that's possible for you. Shoulders down as the heart lifts, just the center of the chest, just a little lift. And as the heart lifts, the shoulders move down and back. The crown of the head lifts, but the chin stays parallel to the ground or slightly tucked in. Right, now let's bend and straighten the legs a couple of times. Beautiful. And then we're going to shift the weight to one foot, pick up the other foot, shift the weight, pick up, just testing your balance. And then we're going to challenge the balance a little bit by picking up one foot and then moving. So you're going to sort of throw yourself off balance in any direction. Now you may need to bring your foot down or touch the wall or something to support you. Feel totally free to do that. You're just playing around. Let your body move. See how far you can throw yourself off and stay balanced or not. Good, and then come back. I'll do the same thing on the other side. So shifting your weight, find your balance, and then start to move. Let your body find its own balance, right? You might have to do some fancy footwork to stay balanced, or of course, bring your foot down anytime. It's not a contest, it's just really tuning in. Where is my balance at today? Often one side is easier than the other, so you might notice that as well. And then back to our mountain pose. Right, so letting your body settle here. We're going to move into a more traditional sun salutation, working with a few different variations of warrior. Today, because warrior is a strong, grounded, really nice balanced kind of pose. Different versions have more balanced quality to them as well. And that idea of when we really put our effort into something and keep our compass pointed in the direction that we want to go, it gives us our goals and our desires a lot of energy. And so we're really going to hold this energy of wanting in our hearts as we work with these strong standing poses. So I invite you to come now to the front of your space, or towards the front. It doesn't have to be right at the end of your mat, but give yourself enough room to step back behind you. Okay, and then again, heels down, heart lifts, arms release down. From here, let's take the arms to the sides, reaching up, bringing the hands together and bringing them down to the heart, where we can again drop this question in. What do I really want? What do I really want? And as we hold this question, not searching for an answer, putting our effort and energy into our physical practice today to tell our bodies that we're willing to work for what we want. We're willing to put effort. So we hold this longing and then we create our effort and tell our nervous systems that we're willing to thrive. We are willing to work for what we want, to be happier, to be more alive in this lifetime. So from that place, let's lift that desire all the way up with our hands. Exhale, bring it down to the earth as we come into a forward bend. Pause here, soft knees, release your head. Feel that sense of surrender to what is, right? We can long for, we can want, but we can't make it happen. So we have to surrender at some point to that idea of what we want. From here, let's take the right leg back, stepping into lunge. So in lunge, lengthen from the back heel to the crown of your head. Grow along. Okay, and then bringing the hands down, we'll step back to downward dog. So again, try to avoid that step forward in downward dog. To make your stance shorter, you can bend your knees, lengthen out through your torso, let your head relax between your arms, and feel your arms working, shoulders and arms, shoulders widening as you imagine pulling the hands towards each other on your mat. And then from there, lowering your knees slowly to the earth, lifting the heart as you breathe in, exhaling and moving into child's pose. You can walk the hands back to any position that's comfortable. We'll take a couple of breaths here. And then from our downward dog, we'll come back up to all fours, tucking the toes under. And from here, we'll step the right foot forward. So if you like, you can swing the right leg back first and then bring it through, or whatever variation works for you to get there. And then lower the hips down, reach from the back heel to the crown of your head, lengthening that whole back line of your body. And then from there, you can step forward, let your head release. Bring your hands to your shins or knees and lift your body about halfway up, finding a little arch in the back, knees can be bent, and then release. And then from there, coming all the way up, reaching overhead like you're gathering, again, that energy of desire, drawing the hands back down to your heart. Pause here, reconnect with that determination, the energy of our practice, and dedicating that energy to maybe just understanding what you want, maybe not even getting what you want, but understanding, really tuning into what we want is huge. So we'll do one more sun salutation just like this. So breathing in, reaching up. Good, spreading that feeling all around you of wanting, of desire, of longing, the delicious feeling, and then hands to knees or shins, breathing in, coming halfway up. Exhale and release. Take a breath or two here, soften your knees, get ready to do lunge with your left leg, stepping back this time. So stepping back, hips down, lengthen from the heel to the crown of the head. And for those of you who want more, take your arms up overhead and let your body lift in high lunge. Breath or two here. And then gonna lower down and step back to downward dog. And from downward dog, releasing the knees to the mat. Inhaling in downward dog and then exhaling to child's pose. Okay, coming back to all fours. Inhaling there, exhaling downward dog. Again, option, however you want to get that left leg forward is great. Once there in lunge, again, lowering the hips, lengthening from the back heel to the crown of the head. Squaring the hips, so the back hip moves a little forward, forward hip moves back a bit, and that's just going to keep a nice stable base as you optionally lift up. Stay for a couple of breaths, shoulders come down. And then releasing the hands down, and step forward. Hands to shins, lengthening. Exhale, releasing. Soft knees, take a couple of breaths here. And then coming all the way up, breathing in. Reaching up. Bringing the hands together. And back. to the heart. And breathing here, tuning into that sense of desire, of longing, of wanting, without needing to fulfill that desire. Feeling whatever resistance may show itself as fully as possible. Right, let's take a breath in, lifting that desire from the heart. Let's stay upright as we exhale and release the arms down. Okay. So we'll come into a little bit of a slightly different sequence now, working still with the breath and moving from pose to pose, and working into a little bit more with the warrior now. So from here, feel your feet again, heels go down, heart lifts. We'll take the arms up, lifting them overhead. As you exhale, shift your weight to one foot, doesn't matter which, and you're going to bring the other knee in towards your body. And then as you start to release that knee, you're going to step it back, turning the foot to the side as you step back and lift your arms to land in Warrior One. From Warrior One, moving the front leg straighter as you come forward. The hands can come to the thigh or the shin, ground or blocks. You'll bend your knee as you lift. So we'll move through this sequence a couple of times, lifting and adding a forward bend with our warrior. As you come forward, you can bend your front knee or keep the front knee bent, or you can move it straighter. So whatever feels best for the stretch in the back of that leg. And if it feels good, you can stay for a few breaths on the last time. So stay. Now optional here, you can either stay in this stretch, or if you want a little bit more, you're going to bend your front knee and step your weight onto your front foot. Walk your hands forward. If you have blocks, you can certainly use them on my fingertips here, which works for me. And then as you lift the back leg, you're going to let the head come down and lift that back leg as straight up as possible. And then stepping back, so you're taking that foot back, turning it to the side, walking your hands back, and lifting up into Warrior One again. From Warrior One, we're going to step forward onto the front foot and bring that back knee back into the chest as we did when we started. And then foot down, arms lift. And releasing your arms back to your sides. So we'll do the same sequence on the other side now. So again, feel both heels go down, heart lift. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, opposite knee coming in. Stepping back, Warrior One, breathing in. And then exhale, forward any amount. And we'll repeat that. So inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, maybe moving the legs straighter as you come forward if that is available. Same option here to stay in the forward bend for a few breaths. Finding that sweet spot of stretch where the leg is straight enough to feel a stretch, but not so straight that there's tension or resistance. You can stay here just as you are, or if you want a little more, take the hands forward as you shift the weight onto your front foot, let the head come down as the back leg lifts up. When you're ready, step back, turning the foot out, planting your foot, walking the hands back. From there, you'll bend your front knee, inhale, lift to Warrior One. And then exhale, stepping forward, bringing the knee in. And then releasing down as you lift the arms, breathing in again. Exhale, back to where we started. Lovely. So take a moment, mountain pose, feel your heels go down, heart lift, shoulders down, reconnecting once again. What do you really want? Just drop the question in. Don't try to seek an answer. Even if you think you already know, just drop the question in. Right, and we'll dedicate our next movement again to that, to the effort of what we want and finding the motivation to move towards it eventually. So again, breathing in, lifting up. All right, bring one knee in, whichever one was first last time would be a good option here. Stepping back, warrior one. So from warrior one, we're going to turn to warrior two. So that means we're going to take the body and turn it to the side, opening the arms. Your back foot may want to turn out a little bit or shift a little bit. And you want to check that your front knee hasn't twisted inward. So your knee and your front foot are pointing in the same direction, which means your hips may be slightly in that same direction as well, which is fine. And then arms to the side. See if you can square your shoulders with your legs, even if your hips are a little twisted. Right? And then looking towards the hand that's over the knee that's bent. The chin slightly down. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the groundedness and the strength of warrior pose, warrior two. So it's a simple pose. If you were to hold it for maybe 5-10 minutes, you definitely feel the effort of this pose. And as you start to really feel into the effort, ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I want to put my effort to? What's important to me? What do I really want? Feel the strength of the pose, the strength of that question. Right? And then we're going to bring some movement in. So we're going to bring the hand down to the knee, reaching the other arm up. And then we're going to take that back hand to the back leg, reaching the front arm up. And just bringing some movement into the body, letting it flow. Letting our desire flow as we move. What do you really want? If you like, you can stay in the side bend for a few breaths. The hand or could be elbow coming down onto the thigh. This arm up in the air could reach up overhead. It could be straight up toward the ceiling or coming back behind your back if that's better for your shoulder. Right, breathing here. When you're ready to come upright, have that arm lifting straight up and coming back to warrior two. So from here, we'll lift the back heel, take the back arm, swing it overhead as we turn toward the front. We're going to bring the hands down, exhaling, and taking a couple of breaths here. When you're ready to come up, you'll bend the front knee, lifting to warrior one. Stepping onto your front foot, bringing the back leg through, hugging the knee up and in. And then releasing that foot down as you take the arms overhead. And let's come into a forward bend. So straight forward over the legs. Exhaling as you come down. Inhale as you lift. And repeat. Exhale forward. Inhale, lift. Okay. And last time. Coming upright, and we'll release the arms down to the sides. And we'll do that same sequence now on the other side. I'm just going to shift to the other end of my mat so that when I turn to warrior two, I'm still facing the screen. You can stay wherever you are, wherever you're comfortable. So again, feeling your heels down, heart lift, shoulders release, crown lift, chin slightly down. And inhale to lift the arms. Exhale, coming forward, dedicating the effort here. Actually, I'm going to come all the way back up again and we're going to go into the actual sequence that we're doing on this side, which is bringing the knee up. So just a little extra forward bend for you there. So we'll come up, bringing the knee in, stepping that leg back, coming into warrior one. From warrior one, we'll turn the body, turn the hips and shoulders. You can, again, walk that foot into whatever angle is comfortable. Maybe move it back a little bit if that feels more comfortable to you. Check down that your front knee is lined up over your ankle. Arms parallel to the ground or in that vicinity. If you feel like your shoulders are struggling here, bend your elbows, turn your palms up a little bit. And then you're looking out over the front hand, feeling the effort in the legs, the arms. If you don't feel effort and you want more effort, take the legs wider, sink down a little deeper, and you'll feel a little more work here. And asking yourself, what do I really want? What do I want to put my effort to? What do I want to dedicate the strength of this pose to receiving in my life? No answer required. Drop the question, let it percolate. Okay, so we're going to, again, lift the back heel, pivot forward as we swing the arm over. You can bring the hands down. If you need to adjust where your back foot is, feel free to adjust. Let your head come down towards your knee. Find just the right stretch here to take a few breaths. Right, and then lifting all the way up. Coming into warrior one again, breathing in. As you step forward, I'm going to bring that back leg in, hugging the knee in any amount. Releasing down as you lift the arms. And now into a forward bend. Exhaling to release. We'll take hands to shins, lengthen as you inhale. Exhale, release forward again. Inhale, come all the way up. Drawing the hands together over your heart. Bring the hands back to the heart. Reconnect with your desire. What do you truly, really, deeply, fully want? Not what you think you should want, but what do you really want deep down? No need to know the answer. Just pose the question. One more breath here. And with your exhale, releasing the arms down. Right. And we'll do one more with this sequence here. So we'll move into warrior three, which is a little more of a balanced pose. So, but the same beginning. So from here, breathing in and lifting up. Good. Exhaling, bringing one knee in. Inhaling, step back to warrior one. Okay, so hopefully you didn't step back too far because we want to be able to step from here into warrior three. So you're going to let the body come forward, arms to the sides. You're going to start to shift your weight to the front foot. And as you lift the back leg, you can start to let your upper body come forward until perhaps the body and arms are parallel to the ground. Keep breathing. Stay if you can. Think about that back leg. You can flex your foot and internally rotate as we did on all fours. And then when you're ready, stepping back, warrior one. Stepping forward to bring the knee in from behind into your chest. Releasing the foot, lifting the arms, breathing in. And then exhale to release. And we'll try same thing on the other side. So don't worry if you lose your balance. You can always keep your leg lower, keep your body higher, modify as you need to make this work for you. So again, heels go down, heart lift, shoulders back and down, crown lifting, chin in, inhale and lift. Good. Exhale, bringing the knee in. Inhale, warrior one. Not too wide a stance or it's going to be hard to Get that takeoff to warrior three. From here, take your time, let your body shift. As you shift the weight, come onto the toes of the back foot. As you lift that back foot, you can start to internally rotate. So the toes point down, letting the body come forward any amount as that leg lifts behind you. Breathing, don't hold your breath. If you need to come out before I do, please do. If you fall out, great. You can always come back in and try coming out with control. So step back, warrior one. Big breath in as you exhale, bringing the knee in, hugging it in, foot down, arms up, breathing in again. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, hands to shins, lengthening. And exhale to release. Inhale, come all the way up. Gathering all that good energy. Bring your hands together above you and draw them back down to the heart. And pause here in mountain pose, holding the hands together at the heart, connecting again to your desire. And if you struggle to connect to your desire today, even if you can connect a teeny little bit, like I want ice cream for dinner or whatever it is for you. Simple, simple, simple. Just feeling that sense that I deserve to want what I want. I deserve to get what I want. Whether or not you actually get it is not the point. But let's take one more breath in. Exhale, release the hands. Take a few breaths here. See if you can feel the solidity and the strength of mountain pose after all of that movements, forward bends, back bends, side bends that we were working with today. Feel the energy in your body. Dedicate that energy to motivate yourself to really dig down. What do I really want? Right? And when we put energy to it, when we know what we want, we align our compass in that direction and we go, right? But without energy, it's just wanting. Good, let's make our way down to the mat now, down to the ground. We'll come back to a little bit of a breathing awareness before we move into Shavasana. So you can start any way with your legs bent or straight, doesn't matter. Hands can rest on the body. Just take your time to settle. So from the activity of and energy and effort of our various different sequences that we did today, letting that go. You can sigh or yawn. Let your body know you're transitioning now to a more quiet inward place, softening, releasing and letting go. And then as you feel your body settle, start to tune your attention back to your breath. So again, it could be following the breath from start to finish, all the way from your nostrils to the deepest point that you feel it and back out again. Or you might choose to just focus on one part of your breath experience and feel fully that area, like your nostrils or your throat or your belly. So take again about a minute to simply breathe and be aware that we're breathing. Bring our attention to the breath fully. You're welcome to simply stay and breathe for another couple of minutes, or if it would feel good to your body, as I know it often does after strong standing poses and back bends, to do a little bit of a twist. So if that would feel good to your body, you can release the hands, or it's fine to leave them on your body too. And let the knees go from one side slowly to the other. Maybe your head goes in the opposite direction of your legs for a little more twist. Maybe your breath comes into coordination, so you're inhaling center, exhaling to the side. Or maybe you're just moving and enjoying the feeling of twisting your body. Make this your own. So if you want to stay on one side and then the other for a few breaths, go ahead and stay. If you want to keep moving, keep moving. And if you've had enough twisting, just come back to center. And eventually, when you feel complete with that, coming back to the center, bringing the knees up to your chest, you can place one hand on each knee and release the lower back by drawing the knees away from you as you breathe in, drawing the knees towards you as you breathe out. Or any other movement that would feel good to you here, that would give your low back a little massage, bring it back to a sense of alignment, so that when we move into Shavasana, we feel really aligned, really steady. You can give yourself a hug here. And again, any movement that would feel good to you. And as you're ready, you'll slowly go ahead and release your legs. You can keep your knees bent, you can straighten your legs out. You could even come to sit if you prefer to sit for Shavasana. That's completely fine. So I invite you now to find that position that's going to be best for you for the next few minutes to relax in. Relax and stay alert, ideally. So Shavasana is different from sleep. Ideally, it's not always different from sleep, as I'm sure some of you are aware. However, the intention for Shavasana is that we're alert and awake, yet relaxed. And it's a kind of mode that we don't spend a lot of time in, most of us, right? We're either completely stressed out and go, 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 or we're dead to the world. And we don't tend to consciously relax, right? We might relax unconsciously in front of the TV and that kind of thing, but conscious relaxation has such powerful benefits to our body, mind state. So coming into your comfortable position, make adjustments as you need to make sure that you're as comfortable as you possibly can be. And then start to tune into your breathing. Again, focusing on the exhalation. Sense of dropping down and in, of letting go. Often when we tune into what we really want, we meet a lot of resistance. And if you're meeting some resistance today, know that that is really normal. And if you have dived right into what you desire and you feel so comfortable in that headspace, then that is also wonderful and to be celebrated. Wherever you're at, dropping into the breath, focusing now a little more on the exhalation, a sense of letting go and dropping down with each breath, each exhalation. If it feels good to sigh, you can let go of a little more tension with that sighing breath, or yawning if that feels right for you. Feel the weight of your head drop down. And let the thoughts inside your mind soften as your head and the muscles of your scalp, face, and neck all start to let go. In order to really go forward to what we want, there's often a letting go of what's holding us back, a letting go of what we no longer want or need. Right? Like when we're moving on the monkey bars, we have to let go of one before we can move forward to the next. So we grab one bar, we get ready, and then we have to have a leap of faith and let go. And our longing is that leap of faith. Our desire is that leap of faith. Exhale and let your arms and shoulders relax now. Let your upper chest and your upper back, between the shoulder blades, all of that upper torso area letting go. Releasing and letting go with the belly and the lower back. Softening and releasing around the pelvis. Feel your buttocks, your hips, your lower abdomen, your pelvic floor, all softening. Let your thighs release. After the effort of the standing warrior poses, feeling your thighs release any tension, softening, letting go, letting your knees sink down, calves, ankles, feet. Exhale, dropping in, letting go. I'll share a chant with you today that's all about letting go, all about releasing and the freedom, moksha, the freedom or liberation that comes from letting go. And when we let go, we open ourselves up to our desire and our new adventure, whatever that may be, in longing. Om Triambakaya Jamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So completely letting go of the question, what do I really want? Letting go of any need to be clear on that. Letting go of any need to act or respond. And simply allowing that question to continue to percolate. To continue to bubble inside and see what happens over the next day, week, month. And as you're ready, you can start to breathe a little more deeply now, inviting a little more energy. If you're ready, if you want to stay longer in Shavasana and be in that space of simply being a little bit longer, feel free to do that. And if you're ready to move and stretch and breathe a little more deeply, then go ahead and Move, stretch, breathe a little more deeply. And eventually, if you're ready, you can roll to your side and take your time. Slowly, slowly come back to sitting. And when you get there, bring your hands together at your heart. So earlier we created lots of space to fill around us with the idea of longing. We're going to close that space now by taking the arms to the sides. And like we're gathering all of the energy of longing that we've tuned into through this class, we're bringing it together, bringing it back to the heart and holding that question in your heart as you go out into your world, as you go out into your day. Remember, seeking the answer by forcing it is counterproductive. Letting your unconscious bubble up and tell you what it is you really want. And that is your truth, not all the surface stuff that maybe we're not so sure about or we think we want, but that deeper, deeper truth is what we're seeking here. So holding that in your heart and just see what bubbles up as you go through your week. Namaste.